Daddy's home. Welcome back to Filmmaster Reviews. I'm Adam J. Never can really be too consistent with this shit now, can I? A lot's happened to me over the past year. Not gonna really get into a lot of big details, but please know that I am fine. I didn't lose interest in doing these videos, despite what some may believe. I just had a lot of other shit going on that needed to be taken care of. I was always raised that you gotta do what you gotta do before you can do what you want to do, and unfortunately, as much as I love doing this, it's not my career. It's just a hobby I love, and I can only really do it when all my other affairs are in order. So to those who stayed subscribed and waited patiently for a new video for months, almost a year, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. It really means a lot. But you're not here for that Hallmark shit. You all know why you're here. You're here to see me suffer, you damn sadists. That's right. I know your game. Why steer your act now? It's time to run through all the worst movies I saw in 2021, and damn did we have some doozies this year. Some doozies that were even praised by critics. I don't know why, but we'll get into it. I guarantee you that at least 2 movies on this list will piss most of you off, but I'm sorry, I can't lie about my opinion. If I think a movie is shit, I'm gonna call it shit. And make no mistake, for me, every film on this list was absolutely painful to sit through. We got horror, we got superheroes, and I got a lot of booze to drink. So let's get right into it, right after some dishonorable mentions. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Because when we heard Carnage would be in a movie, the first thing on all of our minds was, when is that big red motherfucker gonna settle down and get hitched? That's what we all wanted, right? I mean, it's better than the first Venom film, but not by much. Such a waste. Halloween Kills. You know, it's really sad when the only person who doesn't deserve to die in a slasher film is the escaped mental patient. The barrage of stupid characters and rehashed plot points from better Halloween films pissed me off and almost had this in the top 10. But there was one other slasher film that pissed me off even more and ended up taking the spot instead. Make no mistake though, it's still pretty bad. The Little Things. You know, I wanted to love this movie. I really did. Jared Leto, Rami Malek, and Denzel Washington all give top-notch performances in this film, but the story is all build up with no payoff and really no soul. Again, love the performances, but I wish they were in a movie worthy of them. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I loved The Conjuring. I think The Conjuring Part 2 is one of the best horror films ever made. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It was trash of the highest order. It was not scary. It was not thrilling. I didn't give a shit about anything happening. And The Devil Made Me Do It case had almost nothing to do with the overall fucking plot. Like Halloween Kills, this came close to making the list, but there was one other horror film that beat it to the punch. Still terrible though. Still terrible. So now here we go, folks. Let's get into it. Cheers. At number 10 is Mortal Kombat. You know, I consider the original Mortal Kombat film to still be the best video game film ever made. It gave us the characters, it gave us the story, it gave us the tournament, and it treated the source material and the characters with some fucking dignity and respect. This new film? Puh, chuck that shit. We focus mainly on a character who has nothing to do with the games, and all the characters from the games are relegated to sidekick status and have fuck all to do except stand around. They say bad one-liners and throw punches every now and then, but aside from that, that's pretty much it. Scorpion was cool. Barely in the damn movie, but he was cool. Kano was really the only thing pulling me through the whole movie. I mean, he was awesome. He was hilarious. Loved Josh Lawson's performance in the role. Okay, so all the problems with this damn movie, he ain't the problem. Every other character is boring as fuck. Every other one. Sub-Zero is a shit assassin in this fucking movie. There are so many moments where he can just kill his targets, and because the plot requires it, he doesn't. Like, they are like 15 feet away from him in a closed-off alley at one point, and he does nothing. He just kind of stands around and waits for them. Like, it's their turn, Vegeta. I gotta wait for them. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. It's fucking stupid. Gong Yang is a shit protagonist. Again, character had nothing to do with the fucking games, but they threw him in here anyway because, oh, well, the audience needs their handheld, and they need a character from the outside who can, you know, bring us into this world and help us captivate. You know what? Fuck you. That's why Johnny Cage exists. He's that character. That is the reason Johnny fucking Cage exists. Like, dear God, that argument, I'm so sick to death of that bullshit argument. Such a shit argument. Okay? But, you know, they said Johnny Cage was just too white to be in this movie. I'm not even kidding about that. Look that shit up. That is literally what was said. Sonya is fucking irritating. Shang Tsung is boring, which, given how amazing Shang Tsung was in the original Mortal Kombat, that's kind of insulting. Liu Kang is fucking useless. Raiden is an absolute douchebag in this movie. They did my boy Kung Lao dirty. Goro is killed in a fucking trailer park. Like, you know, do I even need to go on? No? Okay, good. Number 9. No, your eyes do not deceive you. I fucking hated the new Candyman movie. This movie fucking sucked. This was the film that bumped Halloween Kills off the list, in case you were wondering, because as much as I didn't like Halloween Kills, this movie sent me into a dimension of pissed off that's kind of hard to describe. For whatever reason, this film is being hailed as, oh, a great sequel to the original. It's a great successor to the original, even though it constantly retcons, ignores, or just straight up misremembers moments from the original at every turn. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. There have now been multiple Candymen throughout the years, despite hearing fuck all about this in the original film. Tony Todd has one fucking appearance at the very end. It's like one of the last shots of the film. He has one little appearance. Like, my God. Yeah, you know, imagine a Nightmare on Elm Street movie where the killer was some random burn victim and Freddy only showed up at the very end to be like, hey, did you miss me? Sorry, no refunds, fuck you. The film's social commentary was so in your damn face and eye-rolling. Yes, the original had social commentary too, but it didn't call time out every 5 fucking minutes to shove it in your face. But I think the thing that angered me the most, I mean, I could get over all that, but the thing that really, really pissed me the fuck off to no end in this movie was the way the film blatantly and utterly disrespected the character of Helen Lyle. How this film treated the main character from the original film was insulting and unforgivable. The point where I don't understand how any fan of the original could like this movie. Why can't Helen be a Candyman like all these other railroaded Candymen? Well, I think for the producers that answer was pretty fucking obvious, but you know, you make up your own minds. And you know, if you're pissed at me now, just wait another few seconds for number 8. Okay, so enough with Candyman. You got that. Candyman was my number 9. For number 8, it was one of my most anticipated films of the year. I was hyped as all hell for the movie. I couldn't wait to watch it. And for the record, if you're someone who loves this movie, that's okay. But I can't even meet you halfway on this one. The Suicide Squad was an awful fucking movie. To give you some context, this movie is just over 2 hours, and it took almost 4 to get through it. The only reason I honestly kept watching the film after a certain point was because I promised my good friend Robert Storms that I would review it with him on his show Storms Live. I went into that review stream thinking that I would be the only one to hate it. I felt like I was going to be, you know, ostracized and everyone else was going to love it, and I was going to be the fucking stick in the mud, and I was like, oh my God, I'm dreading this fucking review. But lucky for me, we all hated it. There was like, I think 4 of us in that damn stream, and we all fucking hated it. Every attempt at humor fell flat for me. I didn't give a shit about any of these new characters, save for maybe Ratcatcher. There's some good stuff for Ratcatcher. But the editing was atrocious. So many characters who could have been fucking cool were just wasted and killed off at the very beginning. This movie honestly feels like it was written by an 8-year-old who just discovered tits and the word fuck for the first time. It is some of the most juvenile fucking dialogue I have heard in any film. And then they fight Starro. Which, I have to say, you know, I fucking love. I really do. I'm sorry, I love this. I love how people shit on the fucking first movie because, oh, well, the Suicide Squad shouldn't be taking on someone like Enchantress. That's too fucking much for them. Oh yeah, an ancient witch. Oh, Suicide Squad should be taking care of that. Superman should be taking care of that. Batman should be taking care of that. Fuck that movie. Yet, everyone is jerking off this film where they fight an alien fucking kaiju. Whatever. The inconsistent bitching is inconsistent. I'm sorry, but for all the studio meddling that plagued the first film, I would watch that over this any day of the fucking week. That's how much I hated this movie. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I really am. If you enjoyed this movie, I'm glad you did. I was in hell. Okay? I was in fucking hell. So let's just get to number 7, okay? And number 7 for me is Escape Room Tournament of Champions. Yeah. How many of you forgot that this movie even came out this year? Like, seriously? I mean, I almost did when compiling this list. Truth be told, I didn't really care for the first Escape Room either, but I didn't feel like it insulted my intelligence at every turn. It was just kind of a run-of-the-mill Saw ripoff. That's all I saw it as. I'm like, it's harmless bullshit. This film had me calling bullshit every 5 minutes. It was predictable, it was lazy, and it was unbelievably fucking stupid. I didn't care about the characters or really anything going on because they were fucking stupid. Every character in this movie is a goddamn idiot. How the fuck does one company, just for shits and giggles, control all of this shit? They are not fucking Umbrella. You literally have these people in an electrified subway car, and they're all somehow not dead. I really pray there's not a third one. And number 6 is Tom and Jerry. You know, when this film has Tom and Jerry just doing their normal shtick, it isn't terrible. But whenever this movie cuts to any of the human characters, and I mean any of the human characters, this movie dies, and it dies hard. Except, when this film dies hard, there ain't no yippee-ki-yay motherfuckers to be had. I mean, it's to a point where it actually becomes unbearable. On top of this, you have to actively try to make me hate Chloe Grace Moretz in a movie, and as much as I love this actress, here, her character is just an asshole. She's a fucking con artist. She's stealing jobs from people. Why should I like this character? Give me a reason. The slapstick is terrible, the humor isn't well timed during the live-action segments, the story is just tired. Between this, Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks, who is asking for these movies? Who are these for? Knock this shit off. At number 5, regrettably, is The Matrix Resurrections. This was my most anticipated film of the year. And dear God, was it a train wreck. Not even a pretty train wreck that I can watch with amazement, but rather a fiery, bloody train wreck, single-handedly destroying everything that I loved about this series. And yes, you heard that right. I said this series. I'm one of the biggest Matrix sequel defenders you will ever find. I love the first film. I loved Reloaded. I mean, Revolutions was a flawed finale to be sure, but nothing approaching awful. This was like having a pine cone shoved straight up my ass. The action is generic and subpar, which for a Matrix movie is beyond unforgivable. The meta humor was the epitome of cringe. So Neo is now a video game designer who created a series of video games called The Matrix and now has to do a fourth one because the big bad Warner Brothers threatened to do one without him. Wow, you're so clever, movie. So clever. Like, do you even know your cleverness, movie? That's right, you pat yourself on the back for all that cleverness, movie. Fuck you. The film focuses so much this time on nostalgia that it never finds its footing and never has an identity. What I loved about the first three films was that all three of them brought something new to the table. Reloaded didn't feel like a rehash of the first film, and Revolutions didn't feel like a rehash of Reloaded. Resurrections just feels like it's trying to be the first film again, with no soul and no understanding of what made that film so great, which is fucking weird because both films have the same damn director. How do you fuck this up? But another big sin for this movie is the fact that it wastes Jessica Henwick, who is one of my favorite actresses working today. She actually gives a very solid performance in this film, but it's just a shame to see her wasted in a movie not worthy of her fucking talents. There were so many avenues they could have taken to make this movie special, but instead we just got another meta nightmare of a sequel coasting on its original counterpart. Such a damn waste. Number 4, F9. Or Furious 9, or Fast 9, or Fast and Furious 9, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care. F9 The Fast Saga, fuck it. Nobody cares about your dumbass titles at this point. Truth be told, I really haven't liked any entry in this series past Furious 7. Furious 7 was like the last one I liked. And the movies, honestly, should have stopped right there. But they didn't. They didn't. They didn't. Oh, God. Fate of the Furious was garbage, and now we have F9, which is somehow even worse. We discover that Dom had a brother this whole time that he never mentioned, and who coincidentally is now a super spy. What the fuck? Yeah, the guy who constantly boasts about family, and how you never turn your back on family, even when they do. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do that voice right. Give me a second. You don't turn your back on family, even when they do. Okay, that was better. I don't know if that was more Vin Diesel or Sylvester Stallone. You guys may be the judge there. But yeah, the guy who constantly boasts about family and how you never turn your back on family even when they do, had a brother this whole time that he just threw out of his life and never talked to again. Never even gave his brother a chance to explain his actions. Just wrote him off. Fuck you, get out of town. When your main protagonist, from the get-go, is made out to be a hypocritical douchebag, that's really not a good sign. To make matters worse, while the other films were pushing the action scenes past reality, this movie has no tether to reality whatsoever. Not a single action scene in this movie is even remotely believable. There are about 20 points throughout this film where all these characters should have been dead but weren't. Keep in mind, most of these characters are car thieves and mechanics. They aren't fucking superheroes. Oh, but it's okay because they joke about this in the film to be meta and cool. No, fuck you. It's not cool. I'm not stupid. Please fucking write better. Guys, they put a car in space in this film. Tyrese and Ludacris drive a car in space. I give up. Why? Why? Why does this exist? Just please explain it to me. Why? It honestly seems to only exist to promote HBO Max. The original Space Jam, you know, it's not high art, but it's cute. It's funny, and it's a nice little 90s time capsule, but most of all, it has heart. There is a ton of heart in Space Jam. Yes, that had a ton of product placement, but none of it ever distracted from the fucking story, or the Looney Tunes themselves. This sequel was just Warner Brothers jizzing all their products onto your fucking faces. It was a spit in the face to fans of the original. It's insulting to the fucking Looney Tunes. And I'm sorry, unlike the first film, this one can't even give us a likable protagonist. LeBron James is an asshole throughout this entire fucking movie. He's even more of an asshole to his son. He's a complete dick to his son this entire goddamn movie. And you know, I understand the movie's trying to say that, like, oh, that's the point. He has to learn a lesson. But he's so damn unlikable that by the time he learned the lesson, I did not give a shit. Oh, and also, I gotta touch on this. I really love how Pepe Le Pew couldn't be in this movie for being so problematic. He's just too problematic a character. Can't have him in Looney Tunes no more. Oh, no. But, you know, you can have the rapist from A Clockwork Orange in the movie. That was okay, right? Yeah, okay. Fuck you. The movie isn't funny. It isn't clever. I mean, I was pretty much done before this point, but when I saw Porky Pig rapping, I honestly wanted to hit the nearest person with a shovel. And number 2 is Snake Eyes. Another one I almost forgot when compiling this list. And, there was a good reason for that. Okay, completely forget about the fact that this movie completely ruins the origins of Snake Eyes. That's the least of this movie's problems. The action is terrible. The editing and camera work are so piss poor, I can't even tell what's happening on screen half the time. And the lead character might as well be the villain. Snake Eyes in this film is such an unlikable, despicable, backstabbing asshat, it's impossible to get behind him in any capacity. When you make me hate Snake Eyes and have me fucking praying for Storm Shadow to impale this motherfucker with a katana throughout the entire film, you kinda have a problem. This is quite frankly one of the worst written and directed films I've seen in a while. The editing is so bad, it's right up there with Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. I'm not even exaggerating. That's how horrible the camera work and editing are. I plead with movie studios everywhere, please, stop making G.I. Joe movies. We've had our fill. Just stop. Home Alone means a lot to me. It does. Like, it does a lot of people. But whenever I am lucky enough to spend Christmas with my little brother, the two of us, we always sit down and watch the first 2 movies. And hell, a couple years back, we even watched the 3rd one. We binged the first 3. So, at least those first 2 movies, they're very special to me. They remind me of home. They remind me of my family who I miss every day that I can't see them. Home Sweet Home Alone felt like an assault on everything that I loved about those first 2 movies. I know film is subjective, and I know that some sequels are worse than others, but guys, there is a limit. This movie was so horrible and such an insult to Home Alone that it felt like a personal attack. That is how terrible it was. I felt like my eyes were just being assaulted. Everything that I love about a Home Alone movie is butchered in this film. And yes, you know what? I'll be the first one to say it. Home Alone 4 is technically worse. But that doesn't make this bullshit any better. The lead kid is insufferable. He is such a little brat bastard. See, with Kevin, you kind of understood why he had animosity towards his family. He was a little bit ostracized. He was bullied by, like, the older kids, and he didn't feel like anyone really cared. He was like, you know what, my family stinks. I want to be alone. You could sympathize with Kevin. That's why the ending of that film, with him hugging his mom, is so beautiful. In both movies, it actually gets me teary-eyed. In this, no, the kid is not remorseful. He's just a fucking douche. The kid is just a douche. The way he talks to his mother, I wouldn't be able to sit down if I was that kid and that was my mom. Okay? I'd be doing this movie review from 6 feet underground if that was me. And the burglars, and the burglars in this movie, they are the sympathetic characters. They made the burglars, the ones being tortured, the sympathetic ones. These are 2 people about to lose their home. I don't want to see them get tortured. That is fucking sick. This takes Mean-Spirited to a whole new level, and for a Christmas film in a franchise that's supposed to uplift you, that's about the biggest crime you can commit. Why would Disney make such an ugly, mean-spirited movie? I don't know. I don't care. But I do know that it was the single worst film I sat through this year. Home Sweet Home Alone. May demons fly you away to thy fiery hell, you miserable little prick. Well, guys, that was it. I'm hoping to have my favorite films of the year up sometime next week. Hopefully I can get more videos out for you guys. But until then, what were your worst films of 2021? Please let me know in the comments, and please subscribe if you want to see more. Take care.